His hand was still warm when he let go of hers. The quiet between them cracked like ice under heavy boots. That restaurant, normally filled with soft silverware clinks and polite laughter, suddenly felt like a spotlight had swung right down on me. Center stage. Across the table sat a man I had grown to hate more than any man alive. His name was Cody. He leaned back in his chair, all smug and full of himself, and tossed out the words like they meant nothing. Your wife's something else. We've met up more times than you'll ever know. She showed me sides of her I bet you've never seen. I didn't flinch. I didn't reach for the steak knife. I didn't flip the table like you see in those overdone television dramas. I looked straight at him, cool as a snowstorm, nodded once, and said, "Thanks for being honest. She's yours now." That's when she came back from the bathroom. Her heels tapped sharp across the marble, echoing like gunfire. She wore a red dress, too tight and too flashy for what she claimed was just a catch-up dinner with an old friend. Her smile disappeared the second she heard my words. Her expression turned stiff and hollow. Then, like I was a disobedient dog, she snapped her fingers at me and hissed, "What the hell does that mean, Nate?" My name's Nate Grey Wolf. I'm 38 years old, an architect, and until recently, a loyal husband. I raised my eyes to her. I wasn't looking for sympathy. I wanted to see something real. Guilt, fear, even shame. But all I saw was that familiar look of annoyance, like I had interrupted her big night out. "You're really gonna act like a victim now?" she barked, motioning toward Cody like he was the innocent one. "You followed me here? Are you out of your damn mind?" I actually laughed. "You booked this dinner using my credit card, Ashley." That's how I knew. The restaurant had gone dead quiet. I could feel everyone watching, but I didn't care. Ashley, yeah, that's her name. Ashley Taylor Grey Wolf. When I met her, she was sweet and shy, always wearing big sweaters and curling up to horror movies with me under an old quilt. But that woman vanished about a year ago. In her place came someone sharp-edged and cruel, always correcting me, mocking me, saying I needed to grow up. At first, I blamed stress, work, hormones, life. But then came the makeup she never used to wear, the lacy stuff she never wore for me, and late nights that didn't add up. I found the receipts eventually. The cold stares every morning when I kissed her goodbye, that was the real giveaway. Back at the table, Ashley tried to smooth it over. She reached for my arm like this whole thing was a misunderstanding. "Come on, baby. Don't make a scene. This guy, he's nobody. Just a fling. It didn't mean anything." Then Cody scoffed. "You told me you loved me." Ashley whipped toward him. "Shut the hell up, Cody. You said you wouldn't say anything." There it was. The truth. "You told him you loved him?" I asked. My voice stayed even, but every word was fire in my throat. Ashley stammered. "No, I didn't mean it like that. Look, you've been distant, Nate. You stopped seeing me. What was I supposed to do? Sit around waiting to be noticed again?" That hit hard, because part of me knew she was right, but I still didn't budge. I turned to Cody. "She's yours now." Ashley's mouth dropped open. "You don't get to decide that," she yelled. "You think you're just going to dump me in front of some Denny's crowd like you're the victim? This isn't a damn movie." "No," I said, stepping around her. "It's a wreck. One you cost. You want him? Take him." Cody stood and reached for her hand. "Let's go." But she didn't move. "You're serious?" she said, her voice suddenly small. "You're really leaving me?" "For once," I said. "Yeah. You two deserve each other." I left. I didn't look back. I didn't go home either. I crashed at my brother Eli's place, curled up on his old guest mattress with my thoughts running wild. I figured I'd be numb, but my gut said something was off. So I opened my laptop. That's when everything really came crashing down. 3 emails. All from the same sender, anonymous.tips@protonmail.com. No subject. No message. Just attachments. The first email? Photos. Blurry but clear enough. It was Ashley. Been over the hood of a car in our driveway. Dress hiked. Heels on. But it wasn't Cody. This guy had tattoos Cody didn't have. Second email? A video. Shaky, like it was taken from behind a fence. You could hear whispers. Her voice. Laughs. The kind of moans you can't mistake. I didn't watch the whole thing. The third email? A document. A list of names. Dates. Times. Locations. Some of the names I didn't know. A few I did. One was my own damn boss. At the bottom, a note, "She doesn't care about you. Thought you should know." My stomach turned. I knocked over the chair getting up. I nearly tripped over my own bag. I wanted to scream, punch something, anything, but I just sat back down, staring at the screen like I was staring into a grave. That was no fling. That wasn't even a one-time mistake. That was demolition. Full-blown, strategic destruction. At around 4 a.m., Eli knocked on the door. "You good, man?" he asked, his voice hoarse. I looked up. "You were right." He stepped inside, sat on the edge of the bed. "About what?" "Ashley." He didn't even look surprised. Just nodded. "What are you gonna do?" I didn't know, but I knew it wasn't over. Not by a long shot. The next morning, I took a shower, got dressed, left before the sun even came up. Not to Ashley's, to my lawyer's. Mason Burke, tough guy in a cheap suit with the focus of a wolf. I gave him everything: screenshots, emails, names. He didn't blink. Just said, "We'll bury her in paper before she finds a new place to crash." We filed that day. On the grounds of adultery, multiple instances. With evidence. 2 days later, Ashley called. Left a voicemail. Cold. Casual. "Nate, I saw the papers. Classy move. You could have talked to me first. I'll be at the hearing. Don't think you're walking away with everything." I didn't reply. She showed up 10 minutes late to court. Big sunglasses. Tight black dress. Like she thought this was some runway show. She waved at me. Her lawyer tried to spin it. Claimed I was emotionally distant. Said Ashley's actions weren't betrayal, they were reactions. That's when I handed the judge the flash drive. Ashley's smile twitched. Her lawyer objected. Claimed it could be doctored. The judge leaned forward. "Mrs. Gray Wolf, are you denying these images and messages came from you during your marriage?" Ashley hesitated, then said, "I don't see how that's relevant." Right then, I knew. She wasn't sorry. She was just mad she got caught. When court recessed, I walked past her. She reached out for my arm. "You really think humiliating me is gonna make you feel better?" She snapped, teeth clenched tight like a pit bull ready to bite. I stopped in my tracks, turned around, and looked her square in the face. "No," I said, voice calm as a still lake, "but watching you lose everything? That might help." Then I walked right out of that courtroom. I didn't head home. I pulled over by the river, let the truck idle while I stared at the cold, slow-moving water. My phone buzzed. It was Eli, checking in. I didn't answer. My head was too full, thoughts crashing into each other like a wreck on the freeway. This wasn't just some broken marriage anymore. This was war. And I was done playing defense. Because Ashley? She still had one more secret up her sleeve, one she figured I'd never figure out. But I did. And I was about to bring it into the light. 3 days after the court hearing, I pulled up to the house, my house, legally and financially. Ashley never paid a penny toward the mortgage. Always said she contributed in other ways, which I now realized meant stretching out on someone else's bed sheets. I didn't come to fight. I came to grab what was mine and see what mess she left behind. The place looked like a storm had ripped through it. Empty wine bottles on the counter, dirty dishes stacked in the sink, a bra dangling off the stair railing like a cheap flag. And that smell, her signature overpriced candle, burning to cover up whatever guilt she had left. She took the big TV, the silver cutlery, a few of my vinyl records, just to be petty, I guess. But what she didn't take was the shoebox. It was under a loose floorboard in the walk-in closet. I'd stashed it years ago and forgotten it even existed. Inside, a burner phone I used for a project in Detroit, back when I needed to keep my work calls separate. Figured it was dead, but when I powered it up, the screen blinked to life. And there they were, 23 unread messages. All from one number. All in the last 2 months. The name saved was just a single letter. T. The first message said, "Missed your mouth today, Angel." The next one, "Still thinking about Saturday. You were wild. Send me a pic." Then another, "You free this weekend? My wife's out again. Let's make those walls shake." I sat back like I'd been hit with a shovel. Ashley wasn't just cheating. She was someone's secret. Someone's little escape. A side dish at the end of their dinner. I kept scrolling, heart pounding. Screenshots. Selfies. Voicemails. And in one of those clips, she moaned his name. Not Cody. Not any man I recognized. A different guy altogether. And then came the message that broke whatever was left inside me. "Nate's asking questions. I think I'll pick a fight and stay at my cousin's. Gives us 3 nights. Bring the good wine." I nearly chucked the phone across the room. But I didn't. I kept my cool. Took screenshots. Forwarded every dirty word, every photo, every voicemail to my email. Proof. Ammo. The truth. But I needed a name. Who was T? I called Eli. Told him everything. He told me to bring the phone over. Eli's ex-military. Knows folks. Folks who know how to dig deep and quiet. By the end of the night, we had it. Travis Ellison. Ran 3 gyms around town. Married. 2 kids. Instagram full of big smiles, little league coaching, family barbecues. The man Ashley had been seeing was someone else's husband. A guy who looked like he'd crush skulls to keep his image intact. The next day, I sent him a message. No threats. No yelling. Just, I know about you and Ashley. Let's talk. Quietly. Before your wife finds out the hard way. He didn't respond for hours. Then I got a reply. Where? We met at an old, half-abandoned parking lot on the south side of town. Looked like something out of a spy movie. He pulled up in a black Range Rover. Hair slicked back, wedding band still on. Stepped out like he owned the place. You Nate Grey Wolf? He asked. I nodded. Then, with the same smug tone I'd heard at the restaurant, he said, your wife's something else. We've met more times than I can count. She's shown me things I doubt you've ever seen. And there it was. The voice from that dinner. The same man. But this time, I didn't flinch. Because just then, Ashley walked up. Same red dress. Same heels. Same fake confidence. But when she saw me standing with Travis, her jaw damn near hit the pavement. She thought she was walking into another secret meeting. Another night of sweet lies and stolen time. She didn't expect us both to be standing there together. Her brain short-circuited. Her mouth opened, but no words came out. Just stunned silence. What the hell is this? She finally spat, stepping between us like she could control the damage. This, I said, keeping my tone steady, is closure. She let out a sharp laugh, but her voice cracked in the middle. So what, Nate? You set me up? Therapy session in a parking lot. I shook my head. Didn't invite him. He came on his own. Said we needed to clear things up. She turned to Travis. Travis, what are you doing here? I told you not to talk to him. His jaw tightened. You told me you were filing for divorce. That we had a future. I am, she barked. He pulled out his phone, flipped through something, and showed her the screen. You told me I was the only one. That you weren't seeing anyone else. You think I wouldn't dig? Whatever was on that phone knocked the color from her face. It wasn't like that, she said, barely above a whisper. Cut the crap, I snapped. You've been passing yourself around town like a cheap flyer. Cody was just the appetizer. Travis here was the main dish. And the rest? Uber driver? My coworker? Dessert. Her face twisted. You don't get to judge me. You ignored me for months. Buried yourself in work. You treated me like a damn roommate. What did you expect me to do? Shrivel up and wait for scraps? Travis stepped forward. You used me. Ashley spun toward him, eyes full of fire. Oh, give me a break. You loved having someone who didn't nag you about bills and bedtime. Don't act like you weren't in it for the thrill. He didn't argue. And then, right then, before another word could leave her mouth, a voice rang out from the dark corner of the lot. She is right. You both enjoyed it. We turned at the sound of that voice. A woman stepped out from behind a concrete pillar, short, blonde, and absolutely furious. It was Travis's wife. Ashley gasped, her face draining. Rachel? Travis muttered, frozen in place. Rachel lifted her phone. Camera still rolling. I followed him, she said, eyes locked on her husband. He has been acting different for weeks. Then I saw that message about some private meeting, and I knew. I knew it was you again. Ashley stepped back, like Rachel was holding a loaded gun. Rachel, please. The slap came fast. The sound echoed like a thunderclap off the parking garage walls. Rachel's hand hit Ashley so hard, one of her earrings flew off. Stay the hell away from my family, she growled, finger in Ashley's face. You are not just a cheater. You are a parasite. Ashley grabbed her cheek, eyes watering, but somehow she still had the nerve to snap back. Oh, like your perfect little husband didn't chase after me first? You think he didn't beg for it? I stepped in. Enough, I said sharply. You have done enough damage. Rachel turned to me. I am pressing charges. Good, I said. I will testify. Travis just stood there, mouth open like he was trying to catch flies, as Rachel turned and walked back to her car. She did not even glance at him. Done. Ashley, though, she broke. Nate, please, don't let this get worse. We can fix this. Just talk to me. No, I said. You do not get to talk anymore. You lie. That is all you do. She looked desperate then, not because she loved me, but because she knew the walls were closing in. I walked away. This was no longer just a divorce. It was a reckoning. And I was not done. That night, I could not sleep. Every time I shut my eyes, I saw her face. First smug, then angry, and finally, scared. That last look, the panic, gave me something close to peace. But it was not enough. Not after what she did. Not after she lied to my face and played two families like a game of cards. I wanted her to feel what she made me feel, not just consequences. Humiliation. I opened my laptop again and looked at the anonymous email from before, the one with the name list and receipts. There was something I had not opened yet, a Dropbox link. I clicked it. Hundreds of files, videos, screenshots, audio clips. All of Ashley. Some folders had names, others were just dates. One folder stood out. Hotel_Kim_footage_room 419. I did not open it. Did not need to. I downloaded everything. Then I reached out to someone I had not talked to in years, Jordan Klein. We went to college together. These days, he runs a big YouTube channel, over 2 million subscribers. He is known for exposing cheaters, scam artists, internet fakes. His tagline, "We do not cancel people. We introduce them to the truth." I messaged him, "You want a real story? I have got one. I have names, dates, footage, and a web of lies so thick it will make your head spin. It is about a woman who wrecked 5 lies pretending she was faithful. You can have it all, just blur the names and protect my identity." He responded 5 minutes later. "Call me." We talked for 2 hours. I laid it all out, every detail. The guys, the lies, the court mess, the parking lot showdown, the slap. He was stunned. Said he almost did not believe me until I sent him the folder. 15 minutes later, he said, "This is gold. Just insane. Are you really sure you want this out there?" Her name stays out. Mine too. That is the deal. He agreed. Smiled through the phone. I swear I could hear it. We scheduled the upload for that coming Friday. He needed a few days to edit, blur faces, and run it by his legal folks. But he promised the premiere would be loud. That gave me time to prepare for court again. Ashley still thought she could walk away from all this clean. She had already filed for alimony. Claimed I was cold, emotionally neglectful. Said she had nowhere to go. Mason, my lawyer, nearly spit out his coffee when he read her demands. She wants what per month? 5,000, I said. She really thinks cheating and public disgrace equals a payday? She thinks she is untouchable. Mason smirked. Then let us prove her wrong. The next day, we filed a motion with the court. New grounds to deny spousal support, adultery, recorded evidence, and a request for a restraining order. We wanted her banned from my house, my office, and anywhere near me. Ashley got the new court papers and flipped. She showed up outside my work, screaming like a banshee. I did not go down. My assistant recorded everything from the 3rd-floor window, Ashley yelling about revenge, screaming how I would regret this, shouting that I was nothing without her. Security dragged her out. 2 days later, the video dropped. Jordan's video, titled "The Woman Who Played 5 Men and Got Caught on Camera," exploded online. It started with Ashley laughing, pouring wine in a hotel. It ended with her voice saying, "My husband's too dumb to ever figure this out." It went viral. Hundreds of thousands of comments. People shared it everywhere. Her Instagram went private. Then it vanished. Rachel, Travis's wife, even posted a TikTok confirming everything. 4 million views overnight. Memes. Parodies. It was a digital wildfire. Ashley was not just exposed. She was obliterated. I did not cheer. I did not dance. I just leaned back in my chair and let out a long breath. But it was not over. Ashley always had one more trick. She came back like a snake with half its head cut off, writhing, angry, still dangerous. It came in the form of a letter. Not a call. Not a message. A handwritten note, in a pink envelope, with my name in that same swirly cursive I once found charming. My assistant dropped it on my desk. Gave me that half-smile. She knew. I opened it. Inside was venom. If you think your little YouTube stunt was smart, think again. You forget I know things too. Things about your finances. Your business deals. Keep pushing me, Nate, and you'll regret it. You want to ruin me? I'll make sure you never rebuild. She signed it with a lipstick kiss. She was spiraling. And now she was threatening me. The next morning, I dropped the letter on Mason's desk. He read it twice. Is this a threat? She knows about the deal with Harrington Group, I said. He nodded slowly, his face turning cold. Well then, Mason said, let's show her what consequences really look like. What Ashley did next proved she wasn't just cruel, she was reckless. The information she threatened to leak, if it ever got out, could cost me a major business contract. It was confidential, tied to a restructuring deal with the Harrington Group. If she spilled it, I could lose everything. Mason leaned back in his chair when I showed him the letter. She's not just vindictive, she's dumb, he muttered. He was right. That threat opened a whole new legal door. Now we had grounds not just to block alimony, but to seek a restraining order and file for defamation. Mason put in for an emergency hearing that same day. But Ashley still wasn't finished. That night, my phone rang. It was my mom, crying. She said Ashley had shown up at her house. At my mother's house. She was on the porch, sobbing, telling my mom I had set her up. That I had framed the whole thing. That this was some twisted payback because she refused to have a child with me. A child? Ashley never wanted kids. She made that clear years ago. And now she was lying to my own mother, weaponizing some make-believe heartbreak to paint herself as the victim. I told Mom, do not believe a single word. I don't, she said softly. But she was shaking, Nate, crying like she was on the edge. She's putting on a show, I said. That's all she knows how to do. I hung up and drove to my mom's place. Ashley was already gone, but the faint smell of her perfume was still hanging on the porch swing like a bad memory. That's when I knew this had to end. Not just legally, publicly. The next morning, I called Jordan. Can we do a follow-up video? I asked. His reply came fast. Let's make it bigger. We planned it out. Full interview. My voice disguised, face blurred, but the story, all of it, no filters. The letter, the visit to my mom, the threats to my business, everything. When the second video dropped, titled The Aftermath, What She Did Next Will Shock You, it blew up. People were horrified. Even the ones who thought I had gone too far with the first video now saw the truth. Ashley disappeared from social media. No posts, no responses, just silence. Until court. She showed up at the next hearing dressed in all black. Hair pulled into a tight bun. No makeup. Like she was mourning something. Like she hadn't destroyed the very thing she was pretending to grieve. Her lawyer tried to spin it. Claimed she was the real victim. That the public exposure caused emotional damage. And that she was now unemployable. The judge didn't even blink. She picked up the letter Ashley had sent me and read it out loud in the courtroom. Then she turned to Ashley and asked, "Did you write this?" Ashley stayed silent. "Mrs. Turner," the judge said again, "yes or no?" Ashley finally muttered, "Yes." That was all it took. Restraining order, granted. Alimony, denied. Defamation claim, dismissed. Final divorce, signed and filed. As I walked out of that courtroom, Ashley kept her eyes on the floor. She didn't say a word. And for the first time in this whole nightmare, I didn't feel rage. I didn't feel heartbreak. I felt nothing. And nothing felt good. Nearly a month passed after that final hearing. One morning, I stood in front of my bathroom mirror, studying the man staring back at me. I looked older, sure. More worn. The stress had carved itself into my eyes and jawline like time had pressed a thumb into my soul. But underneath that, I looked free. No more mind games. No more fake apologies. No more wondering if the person beside me was telling the truth or just good at playing the part. Ashley was gone, truly gone. She had left town, according to Eli. Moved to another state. Heard she was trying to land work in a new city. Nobody from her family ever reached out. No calls. No messages. Not a single word of apology. Good. If she ever called me again, I would not answer. I had crossed out of rage and into something better. Peace. That does not mean it was easy. I still had rough nights. Nights where I lay in the dark, staring at the ceiling, replaying her lies. Moments where I saw the signs and ignored them. Times I held on to hope when I should have let go. But each time, I came back stronger. I remembered that moment, back in that restaurant, when Travis looked me in the eye and said, "Your wife is something else. We've met dozens of times." Back then, I wanted to rip his head off. Now, I realize he gave me the one thing Ashley never did. The truth. And when I said, "She's all yours now," I meant it. The woman I married, the one who promised forever, she was long gone. Replaced by a shadow in red heels and a fake smile. But I survived her, and I built something better in the ruins she left behind. Jordan's second video went viral. Over 20 million views in the first month. I did not do it for fame. I did it for truth. For the guys like me who are told to shut up, take it, and suffer in silence. I did it for every man who has been laughed at for feeling pain. For every guy who has been called weak for walking away. The messages poured in from men, women, teenagers. People who had lived it. People who were living it. People who needed to hear that it was okay to leave. that it was okay to start over. Because here is what I know now. Pain only wins if you keep it quiet. These days, I live alone. And for the first time in years, I am good with that. I wake up in a bed I paid for, in a home I own, without lies filling the space beside me. No secrets. No late-night whispers. No wondering where she really is or who she is really texting. My brother and I see each other more now. I have reconnected with old friends I lost while drowning in Ashley's chaos. And I laugh again. Real, honest, unfiltered laughter. Do I believe in love again? Maybe. But next time, if there is a next time, it will be real. No more mistaking red flags for roses. No more falling for tears that only show up when they get caught. I know better now. And if you are reading this, if this sounds familiar, let me tell you something. Leave. Not because they do not deserve you, but because you deserve peace. You deserve to wake up without suspicion. You deserve nights where you do not have to check their phone or follow their lies. You deserve love that is not a performance. I walked through fire, and I came out clean. Ashley? She'll keep doing what she does. But me? I am finally free.